Hello, this is Ramsey Rashid demoing the UNM CS464 database final project. What we are looking at is a web-based dating website. It's a web application. ASP.NET front end is what I designed the user interface with, and it stores and retrieves data from a MySQL Server database. So we're going to go through a demonstration of using the website and showing some of the basic functionalities of storing and retrieving data, and showing how we did that with our C# programming language. So what we're looking at right now is the home page of the website. It's pretty straightforward. It's an explanation of what the website is. You could see there's a picture of Lois Griffin from Family Guy. I'm using the Family Guy theme to sort of demo the usability of this application. All of the data that you see, whether it's images or text-based information from the users, it's all stored in the database. So these images are stored in a binary format. So the home page, for instance, simply loads a random selection of the different profiles that have signed up, that have registered on the dating website. Sort of an advertisement that you sometimes see on, like Yahoo pages and stuff like that. This little box here is a clickable box, so if you were to click it, it'll take you to what should be, in this case, Meg's profile. However, since we are not logged in, we are unable to view her profile. It wants us to register and sign in to be able to view her profile, and if we're interested in her, we could also send her a message. So let's go ahead and do that, and as we do this, I'll go ahead and explain the different parts that are affecting the database. For instance, when we register for an account, it's going to insert a couple different records in the different tables in our database. So we'll go ahead and we're going to register as Peter Griffin. I went ahead and I registered everybody, all the other key players, to kind of have some data to play with. So we'll type in his information. I'm not sure what Peter's middle name is. We'll go ahead and leave that out. It is optional, and the database is set to allow nulls. First and last name is not. So we'll go ahead and select a fake birthday for Peter. We know he's about 40, 42 years old. So we'll say October 16th, 1971. That ought to put him in that range. We'll go ahead and select, I'm going to type in my real email address because what the site does is it actually sends me an email and forces me to click the link to activate the account. So it's pretty cool. It won't actually just allow a bot, for instance, to easily register for thousands of accounts. It sort of forces some degree of human element. So that's my email right there. Password's minimum of 7 characters. If you don't enter this, it will give you an error message. And there you see it right there. So we'll add one more. And make sure we match the password, and then we'll go ahead and click on register. Once we click on register, it will send me an email, and it says, alright, everything looks good. Go check your email. So we know to do that. Sure enough, I just got an email from the website. Says welcome to Black Book, which is the name of the project. Please click this link to activate your account. We'll go ahead and do that. But before I do that, I do want to show one thing. Actually, I didn't click the link. Before I do that, I do want to show one thing. So if I now look at this, the table in the database, it has my new user account, which I registered Peter, and the email I used was my Gmail. But if you notice, the account activation date is null. So if we tried to log in, it wouldn't allow us. But let's go ahead and click this link, and then we'll show how that column is now updated. So it says you've successfully activated your account. Enjoy the Black Book. We're now redirecting you in 5 seconds, and it did. It redirected us back to the home page. So we'll run the same query, and we're going to show that this column here, this attribute, this date attribute here, will now have a value. So I refresh the query, and there it is. It's 8:33 and 35 seconds, which was just now. That is database server time. So we'll go back to the application, and now we're logged in as Peter. And the first thing we really need to do is update, or sort of activate or populate our profile. What happens is when accounts are first created on this site, it populates only the minimum amount of information on the profiles table on the relation. So what we're going to go ahead and do is show that only the minimum amount of information is there, and we can go through the front end, through the user interface, and populate more information. So we'll just do a simple select star from profiles P, where P dot profile ID, or user account ID rather, right? This is in BCNF form, is 7, because we know that's the new number, the new user ID that we just created for Peter. We'll go ahead and run that, and we have our foreign key. If we scroll to the right, here it is, number 7. But that's about all we have. We have some basic information like Peter's first name, last name, his date of birth. So we'll go ahead and log in. We're already logged in. We'll go ahead and click on My Profile, and it recognizes that we haven't really updated it, or this is our first time doing so. And so it says you do not have a profile, you must create one. Just for a point of reference, how we know this is the first time that it's being created is because there's an attribute here called edit date, and it's null, as you can see right here. By that being null, it tells the website that this profile has never been edited, and this will only get populated when the user edits it through the front end. So we'll go ahead and click OK, and I didn't get a chance to label with an asterisk or something the required fields, but everything you see under the bio section is required. So we'll go ahead and type in an income for Peter. We'll say that he makes $60,000 a year, and he's in Quahog. I'm not sure if that's how to spell Quahog, but it definitely looks right to me. Peter has a GED. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, so he didn't get accepted to Rhode Island school. So we'll go ahead and put high school for that. In terms of tattoos, I'm not sure if Peter has any, so we'll go ahead and put 0. And we know that Peter has 3 kids, Meg, Chris, and Stewie, in that order, and he doesn't want any more children. The rest of these fields are optional, but we'll go ahead and fill a couple in. So we'll say that Peter's favorite sport is football. As you can see, I already typed it in, and his favorite color is orange. And we'll go ahead and click publish, which is sort of like the save button. And we'll notice that these values are now saved to the database. The user interface, it does give you a feedback. Basically, it says you've successfully updated the profile. So we'll go ahead and click on close, and then we will refresh the database and see if we see those attributes. So as I mentioned earlier, this database is in BCNF format. So all of these fields are foreign keys to the actual tables that hold them. For instance, education level ID. I believe we selected high school for Peter, so it put the number 2, which is the high school ID in the educations table. And personality type, I think it was defaulted to 1 for, he's a cool personality type. So as we can see, this table is populated with the information that we just put, but we still don't have an image. So we really want to upload an image for Peter, and to do that, you click on the edit tab up here and click the link that says upload your picture, and we select where the image is stored on our hard drive. And essentially what we're doing here is we're going to upload it to the database, and it's going to be stored in the database in a binary format. So as you can see, I have a few pictures of the Family Guy crew here. We'll go ahead and select the image for Peter, and we'll go ahead and click upload. I don't need to check the primary box since it's my first image. It automatically defaults to that. And once I clicked upload, it then put the image into the database and also shows it here on the screen. So for right now, Peter's profile is pretty much complete. So the next step is to show how to send messages or search for other profiles on the website. So let's say Peter is interested in finding a date. We all know that he's married to Lois, but let's say he's not. So you click on the search for people link here, and it takes you to a page where you can essentially search for people whom you think you'll be interested. Now this is the second function of the website. The first function is we have a nightly algorithm which runs and auto computes, auto calculates who the algorithm sort of thinks would be a good match for you. So there's two different approaches. You can search on your own, which is what we're going to do right here, and I'll show you the code for the algorithm that actually matches you up with who it thinks. It's not very advanced, it's pretty simple. So the gender of who he's going to search for is a chick. That's not to offend anybody. This is sort of putting a humor twist on dating websites. And age range, we'll go ahead and say between 35 and 45. Hopefully the date of birth that we put in for Lois falls within that range. So we click find, and sure enough, Lois pops up in our result set. I'll show you later on where and how this is computed in terms of code, but we'll go ahead and click the link and it takes us to Lois's profile. And if Lois had more images, we would be able to see more of them, but since she only has one, it'll just sort of navigate through the same one over and over. But if she had 2, 3, or 4, it'll show them. So we're interested in Lois, and we want to send her a message. Remember, we're logged in as Peter right now. I have another window that's logged in as Lois, so we can actually see the message that we're about to send. So we'll go ahead and click this window, this link rather, and it'll pop up a window to be able to type a message and send it. This is going to go to Lois, and we want to ask her out tonight. So, hi Lois, you look cute. Let's go to the Clam tonight. For those of you who don't know, the Clam is the local bar that Peter and his crew go to. So we'll go ahead and click send, and then that essentially sent a message to Lois's user. And how that works is the message is in the database. So we have a table called user messages. We'll go ahead and do a quick select star on that table to show that this message is now there. I'm using Toad for MySQL for those who have questions in terms of the IDE I'm using here. It's pretty nifty. So there's our message. The message ID is 1. The sender profile is 9. The recipient is 1. Lois was the first person I created. Here's the message. The read date is null because she hasn't read it yet. So now I'll go ahead and open up my Internet Explorer window with Lois logged in. And under recent messages it's going to be blank, but if I hit refresh, there's the message from Peter. And you can see that it says unread because it's reading that red column, that red attribute, and it's null, the read date. So once I click it, it'll pop the window open and change that attribute to have a date inside of it. So I click the message and it says, there's the message we sent to Lois. Hi Lois, you look cute, let's go to the Clam tonight. She can reply. Remember, I'm in Internet Explorer. I'm using cookies here, so I have to use 2 separate browsers. I will go ahead and say, sure, let's do it. So as she clicks that, it goes, and as you can see, the link to this message now says read because it's she went ahead and read it. And just to confirm that, we'll refresh our select query here from the database, and it has a populated date. And now there's a new message back to Peter referencing the message ID that she just sent. So now we'll open up Peter's profile, and he could see he now has a message saying, yay, let's do it. So he's happy, as you could probably imagine, that he now has a date. So now we'll go on to the code. For the second part of the video, I'll actually show the code that generates this all the data.